Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another DIY project, one I've wanted to do for ages, and that is the DIY paper mache bowl. Now, these decor pieces have been popping up on Pinterest and magazines and everyone's feed for donkeys, and I've wanted one in my own home for ages. Like, seriously, I've resisted buying them. And the reason why I've resisted buying them is because I cannot get my head around some of the prices on them. Like, I've seen some go for hundreds, and yes, I appreciate that some of them are vintage pieces and they are stunning, but when I actually kind of think about it, I'm like, it's a paper mache bowl. Why is it costing that much? So as you guys will know, I mainly do DIY projects like this when I can't get them in the UK because I'm heavily influenced a lot by American interiors, and unfortunately some of the pieces are just not available here, no matter how hard I try. And B, some of them I just can't justify the cost around, and I appreciate a retailer and you know what they've got to do, but some of them I'm just like, can't get my head around paying that much money for that. So I'm gonna give this DIY a go. Essentially it should be easy, but I will give you a bit of a backstory to this DIY, which is I've already attempted this many moons ago. I've attempted to try and do this DIY project, and let's just say it did not end well, hence why you've not seen it till this day. It literally ended in tears, like proper tears on my half of just frustration and anger. And I was trying out different methods on how to do it, and I'm just gonna go with this one, and I think it's gonna involve a lot of patience. It's mainly to do with the drying time. And I'll explain more as I go on with the DIY project, but today is the day. We're gonna go with it, we're gonna do it, we are going to succeed, I hope. Obviously filming this before the DIY has begun, so who knows at this point. So, for this DIY, you're gonna need a couple of things. You are obviously gonna need a bowl, which this is just a cereal bowl that we have on hand. Anything really that you want to replicate the shape of. You know, you could go large, you can go small, shallow, you know, tall, anything like that. I think this is the perfect size for what I want, where I'm imagining this to go. So this is going to work for me. Obviously to protect the bowl, you're gonna need some form of cling film or protective film, just to obviously ensure that the paper mache does not stick to your bowl. And then you're going to need the paper mache itself. So this is something I purchased online. All this will be linked down below if you are interested in using the exact same things I did. I bought two bags thinking one wouldn't be enough. As usual though, I can't work out measurements or you know anything like that, and this is 1 kilogram. This is definitely going to be more than enough for this. So potentially I'm going to go in with doing several other DIYs, so we shall see. And that's basically it. Some water, and obviously for the decor part you'll need some paint, which is downstairs at the moment. I will bring that up as and when we get to that position of the DIY. So we're going to prep this bowl, obviously covering the film to protect it all around. We're not going to go inside obviously with the paper mache, otherwise we're just sacrificing the bowl for the hell of it, but we want to just make sure that if anything gets on the inside it's protected. I'm going to start to construct the base of it, which is pretty much copying this, where I want that kind of flat podium for the bowl to sit up on. I want it to be a little bit raised. I'm going to do some bit edging. You know, I've seen many different styles, you know, where there's like kind of just like a ribbed edge, some dots on it, everything like that. We're just going to go with it. It doesn't matter also if it's not 100% clean on the edge of it. Like, the whole point of this is to make a vintage piece where it looks like it's been around for ages, and very common thing with many of my DIYs that I do. So we don't mind some imperfections. If you're interested in any other DIY projects that I have done, I'll link the playlist somewhere, up, down, left, right, somewhere on here, but definitely link down below. I generally do a lot of these DIY projects where I will find something that I'm inspired by, you know, out in sort of the media, try and replicate it. And as always, I kind of mirror up as to if it's worth actually DIYing it or if it's just worth buying it. In this case, obviously, we've got the cost version of it, but also we need to consider like the time and effort putting in with this project. So I can already tell from a cost perspective, this is going to be absolutely worth doing the DIY. It's just going to be dependent on the time. So we shall see. So let me get this bowl prepped and let's get started with the paper mache bowl. Hi. I'm going to talk to you off camera just to explain what I'm doing so you guys can see what's going on here. So I've cling filmed the bowl. Obviously it's important to remember that whatever is on this side is going to imprint onto the paper mache. So you really want to make sure it's as smooth as possible on here. Now you can sand paper mache down with a very fine sanding block, but you know, prep as much as you can beforehand. So this bowl is completely covered. I've got paper mache here. According to the instructions, they say it's 3 parts paper mache to 1 part water. You're really looking for like a dough-like consistency. So I just took it slow and steady with the water. I have more water here if I need to add it. It's very, very sticky, so be prepared. Hence why I've got this plastic cutting board here. So I'm just gonna layer it on. Roll up my sleeves just to make sure we don't get anything on my clothes, because you know what, chose my best clothes to do this DIY, and I'm just going to start layering and going from there. Okay, 10 minutes later and we're done. So I need to lift it up. I need to get a better filming location for these things soon. But this is the bowl so far. I mean, it doesn't look like a bowl, I will admit it. It needs a lot of, you know, styling and standing. So there's definitely going to be that element coming very, very soon. Process itself, very simple to do. I have a ton of paper mache left over, both here and also in the bag that I opened. According to the instructions, you can put that in an airtight container and it will stay a dough-like consistency until you want to reuse it again. So I'm going to do that and see how that looks, you know, later on. For this, it says to leave to dry 24 hours per 2 centimeters or anything like that. Obviously, it's quite weight to it actually. It's a lot there. So this is going to... You did? My puppy decided that was the moment to have the biggest drink of all time. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this for a week, maybe even longer, just until it's completely dried. I'm gonna have to be patient as ever in order for this to succeed. So I'm going to exercise control. So I'll come back to you guys in a week or two. Hey, good morning everyone. It is a week later since I last spoke to you. A couple of things to just mention before I get into this. Firstly, apologise for any background noise you can hear. The washing machine's on, the dog is doing its thing. You know, this is what happens when you've got to, you know, do household things as well as record videos. So till I get a studio, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Secondly, I look completely different to the last time I saw you. I've just cut my hair back too short. I've just realised also that I've pre-filmed a couple of videos, so my hair is gonna swap and change for a couple of weeks, so please bear with. Anywho, the reason why we're here is that the paper mache bowl has finally dried. So we had a little bit of damage, but I managed to smooth everything out. I didn't want to smooth it too much though, because obviously part of the charm is the fact that it's rustic and rough and everything like that. But this is what we've got so far. It's pretty solid, so it's a bit of heftiness. I will admit, I wanted it a bit more smooth. I've seen some really nice massive bowls, so we might come back maybe later on in the year with like an attempt to at doing it. And I think if I were to do this again, I would build it up in layers. So work on like the base layer, let that dry, then add things to it. So we shall see. You may see another one of these where we a DIY attempt too. Anyway, today we're going to paint it to make it look rustic and vintage. And I don't think this will take that long at all. It's just a case of obviously drying time. So I've got 2 lots of acrylic paint that I found downstairs. I've got this nice brown one, this kind of tanny one, and obviously the white. I've used these 2 colours when I was DIYing the stone vase that I've done, which is one of my most popular videos on my channel, so do go check that out if you're interested. And then I purchased this one because I figured I wanted just a bit more darkness in it. So I'm going to use these to kind of completely cover the bowl and then let it dry. And then I think just for protection of both the bowl and like my furniture, I have a clear sealant downstairs which I've had for other DIYs and everything like that. This one is a matte finish as well, so it's not going to make it look shiny or anything like that, but I figured a coat of that or two will just make sure that it stays nice and protective of everything. So I'm going to go ahead, get this done, so then I can put it to one side and get on with the rest of my day, and hopefully next time I speak to you this DIY will be completed. Okay guys, it is the next day and the DIY has been completed. I have it styled, ready to go. I don't know if you can see a sneak of it right there, but I'm going to show you the DIY completed in 3, 2, 1. So that is the DIY paper mache bowl completed. Now, I have mixed feelings about it. I love it the way it is, but it didn't turn out exactly how I imagined it would turn out. Like, as I said, I imagined it being a bit more of a different shape, a bit more refined, and I think that is just technique that I need to improve on. So certainly I will want to pick this DIY. So certainly I will want to pick up this DIY again in the future. Something that I think I can definitely work on and refine, so watch out for part 2 coming up later on in the year. But for now, I'm happy with the way the results came about, considering how long it has previously taken me, and I've never got this far before in terms of attempting this DIY. So what I would say is that if you do have the time to do this DIY, by all means give it a go. But I think if you're stuck on time and you're not very crafty or have the patience, it might be worth just buying the bowl from any of the retailers that you do see. But I'm glad I gave it a go. I'm glad I gave it a shot and at least saw this project through to the end. Like I said, we've never got it this far, so I'm happy that we have. If you do like this video, do give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if you're going to be attempting this DIY yourself or not. Let me know if yours is a success and if you find other methods that work that I can try out again in part 2 later on. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It'd be lovely to have more of you along on the journey with me on this DIY and home improvement project journey that I'm on. But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Look out for something later on in the week, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out, because I have something of a bonus coming to you, so you'll have to watch out for that. So anyway, for now guys, have a lovely rest of the week, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.